For the first time in probably ever, I am actually somewhat interested in using Bing as my search engine. That is because Microsoft just unveiled a whole bunch of really interesting stuff utilizing kind of their version. I guess it's a tweaked version of ChatGPT. Now, I just made a video the other day using ChatGPT to talk about Surface Duo, why it failed, and what Microsoft might do to improve it. It's a very, very interesting piece of technology, and it is going to be something that's going to be pretty much everywhere very, very soon. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to jump over to this Twitter thread that I created because this was a relatively long event and I wanted to basically condense down what happened into an easily digestible thread. And then we're going to talk over this. As you can see here, Microsoft just unveiled their new integration with ChatGPT. And really, for the first time, and I said basically ever, but 13 years since Bing has been around, it seems like Microsoft might finally be ready to take some attack actually to Google themselves with search. So this is what the new home screen of Bing looks like. I believe this is a new look, to be honest with you. I've not used Bing in so long that I don't actually remember what Bing's homepage looked like, but this is what it currently does look like. And you can see this little demo down here of what this is going to look like. Now, unfortunately, this is not fully rolled out to everyone. You have to ask to be on a waiting list. I have not yet been approved to actually have access to this. As soon as I do, I'll probably do some demos and stuff like that of how this does work. But for now, we're going to look at the demos that Microsoft themselves showed off. So the first one that they showed off here was searching for compare the most influential Mexican artists and their top paintings. And they show off the traditional search result, which is just a search result. It's a bunch of links to web pages, nothing too exciting there. But then they do the same thing in new Bing. And what they get is that same search result, but also the actual answer to the question on the right. This is compiled over the entire internet, I presume, and they just give you the answer. And there are citations, right? Just like in Wikipedia or something like that. There are citations here you could click on and go to where they got this information from. But it's compiling not just links to web pages, actual answers to the question. And I'm going to be banging on that drum this entire video, okay? There's a difference between a search result and an answer to the question, right? You ask your search engine what the forecast for the day is, rather than giving you, this is something they're already doing, rather than giving you just a link to a website that has that answer, they're just giving you the answer. We'll take that and expand it to pretty much anything. And now you understand what this is going to be in your search engine, but it's going to be much more than that as we move forward. So now they ask new Bing for events in Scottsdale during the Super Bowl. And rather, again, than just giving you links, it's going to actually give you the answer to the question. Let's keep moving. This is a really cool one. They have a specific IKEA couch in mind and a specific vehicle. They want to know if that couch will fit in the back of that vehicle if they fold the seats down. Again, it goes and finds the measurements, the dimensions of the couch and of that vehicle, and it gives you the answer. So you don't have to do this yourself. It's just going to tell you the answer to the question. Here's another cool one. Compile the top 3 pet vacuums and their pros and cons. How long would it take you to do all of this research yourself? You're in OneNote and you're putting all this together. It just does all that work for you and writes it out. There's all your pros and cons compiled for you. Again, notated, click on it, go to the links and see where it's getting this from. How much time, as they said, how much time are you saving by doing this? This is very, very cool. Getting more complex though. They ask Bing to create an itinerary for a 5-day trip to Mexico, and you literally watch as it types this out. Day 1, day 2, day 3. And then they show, let's make it a 3-day trip instead. So they amend it, and it gives them a new answer to that question as well. And then they do a whole bunch of other stuff, like ask it to translate this to Spanish and do all sorts of things like that. Very, very cool. This is not just, again, search results. These are answers to questions, and they're intelligent answers to the questions. So then they move on to a new version of Microsoft Edge. You can see a screenshot of my browser there, which does look really nice to me. Nice curved rounded edges and so forth, a new design, and there is Bing built in. You click on that and you can see I'm on the wait list, but you'll see what happens if you're not on the wait list, if you're actually able to use this here in just a moment. So they're looking at a PDF here. So they're working on this PDF. Gap Incorporated reports third quarter fiscal 2022 results. So they ask this built-in Bing, hey, can you actually get me the key takeaways from this PDF? So it uses that PDF as the context and it gives them the key takeaways. But wait, they want to compare this to a competitor. So they're going to ask it now, can you actually compare this to Lululemon's third quarter fiscal results? So they're using this, right? Compare this PDF to this thing on the internet. And it's smart enough to know the context here, but also go online, find Lululemon's third quarter fiscal results, and then it actually does the work of comparing those two things. It gives it a readout comparing those results, as you can see here. This is really, really cool stuff. He then shows going and finding a snippet of Python, some code there on Stack Overflow, and then they ask it, hey, can you convert this into Rust, a different language? And of course, it's able to do that as well. How much time is that going to save? This is a really cool one. They're on LinkedIn. They're going to do a post on LinkedIn, and they ask it, hey, can you introduce the new AI-powered Bing and Edge with an enthusiastic tone in a paragraph? And there you go. It types out exactly that for you. So if you want to make a social media post, but you don't really feel like typing anything out yourself, ask new Bing to type it out for you. You can go in and edit it, do whatever you need. This is very, very cool, guys. I really, really like this stuff. And like I showed in my video, asking ChatGPT about Surface Duo, this is what this thing's going to be capable of doing on top of all the stuff. So you can just ask it questions. Ask it to write something for you. This is awesome. Now, one of the big weaknesses of ChatGPT, and this was a problem in that video that I made, is that it's basically only smart up to a certain date. It was trained up to a certain date. New Bing is going to be constantly retraining and getting new information. So that problem is solved. Now, there are a lot of questions about this, right? What is the effect that is going to be had by this type of thing, right? You're just getting the answers to questions. And yes, while these answers are, annotated and they are sourced, will people click on those links and go to those websites, or will they just say that's my answer and move on? Is this going to negatively affect people's movement from being into external websites? This is definitely a big question that's going to have to be answered. Now, another huge question that will be answered here very, very shortly is how will Google respond? In fact, their event is going to begin while I'm recording this in about 34 minutes. So that is very, very interesting. Google has their own version of this, whereas Microsoft is taking ChatGPT, OpenAI, which they have funneled billions of dollars into, and they're sort of using that. Google has their own thing. We've heard them talk about Lambda, and now they're using something called BARD. These are acronyms, and they are set to announce competitors to all of this on their own, literally in now 33 minutes. So of course, I'll have breakdowns of that as well. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on all of this awesome stuff. The search engine wars are heating up for the first time in a really, really long time. Microsoft actually put out a figure, which I thought was absolutely mind-boggling, kind of letting us all know exactly how valuable search engine market share is. This tweet via Daniel Rubino. For each point in search advertising market share Microsoft gains, it equals $2 billion per year. Do you want to know why they're doing this stuff? Do you want to know why they're really trying to compete and why Google is now going to try and do the same thing to keep up with this? Because it's worth a lot of money. Guys, like I said, subscribe so you don't miss out on more stuff like this. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.